Fishing boats floated peacefully near the shore, families walked along the beaches, tourists recorded the sunrise without realizing that thousands of miles away beneath the ocean floor, the Earth had already begun to crack apart. And within minutes, one of the deadliest forces in nature was born, the Indian Ocean. Tsunami of 2004 remains one of the most horrifying natural disasters ever recorded. Triggered by a massive undersea earthquake near Indonesia, the quake reached a terrifying magnitude of 9.1. The ocean floor suddenly lifted upward, displacing billions of tons of water in every direction. At first, many people didn't even understand what was happening. The sea began pulling away from the shore. Beaches stretched farther than anyone had ever seen before. Curious tourists walked toward the exposed ocean floor, taking pictures, collecting fish, completely unaware that a giant wall of water was racing toward them at nearly 500 miles per hour. Then it arrived. Massive black waves crashing into coastlines across Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and India. Entire towns disappeared within minutes. Cars, buildings, boats, and people were swept away instantly. Some waves reached over 100 feet high. Survivors described hearing a roar louder than airplanes before the water swallowed everything around them. More than 230,000 people lost their lives in that single disaster. And for many coastal communities, life never returned to normal. Years later, another terrifying tsunami shocked the world, this time in Japan. In 2011, a gigantic earthquake struck beneath the Pacific Ocean near the coast of Tohoku. Within moments, tsunami sirens began echoing across cities as officials warned people to evacuate immediately. But nobody expected the waves to become this powerful. Dark water rushed inland like a moving monster. Entire neighborhoods vanished beneath the flood. Cars floated like toys. Massive ships crashed into buildings. Airports, roads, and train stations disappeared under the water within minutes. Helicopter footage captured scenes that looked almost unreal. Fires burning on floating debris, houses spinning through the floodwaters. Thousands of people trapped on rooftops, waiting for rescue while freezing water destroyed everything around them. The tsunami also triggered one of the worst nuclear disasters in modern history at the Fukushima nuclear power plant. Explosions inside the facility sent fear across the entire country. Japan is one of the most prepared nations on Earth when it comes to earthquakes and tsunamis. Yet, even with advanced warning systems, the scale of this disaster overwhelmed everything in its path. But some tsunamis in history were even more terrifying because they struck without warning. In 1958, deep inside a remote bay in Alaska, a massive earthquake triggered a giant landslide directly into the water. What happened next created the tallest tsunami wave ever recorded in human history, and the impact sent water exploding upward nearly 1,700 feet into the air. That's taller than many skyscrapers. Trees were ripped completely off mountainsides. Entire forests vanished instantly as the giant wave tore through the narrow bay. Fortunately, very few people were in the area at the time. Otherwise, the death toll could have been unimaginable. Scientists still consider it one of the most extreme natural events ever witnessed. A wave so massive, it looked more like an explosion than an ocean surge. And then came another disaster that changed an entire nation forever. In 1883, the volcanic island of Krakatoa in Indonesia erupted with unbelievable force. The explosion was so loud that people thousands of miles away claimed they could hear it. Ash darkened the sky while gigantic tsunamis spread across nearby coastlines. Entire villages were erased from the map. Ships were thrown inland by enormous waves. Some tsunami walls reached over 120 feet high as they slammed into surrounding islands. More than 36,000 people were killed. And even today, scientists believe the eruption of Krakatoa remains one of the loudest sounds ever heard in human history. But perhaps the scariest thing about tsunamis is how quickly they arrive. Unlike hurricanes or storms that can be tracked for days, tsunamis often give people only minutes to react. One moment, the ocean looks peaceful. The next moment, an unstoppable wall of water is racing toward land with enough power to destroy entire cities. And even with modern technology, humanity still cannot stop them. Because when the Earth moves beneath the ocean, the sea itself becomes a weapon.